Hello, good morning. Day 513. Since 59 hostages have been brutally, barbarically, violently, and inhumanely working up to the hell called Gaza by the inhumane, barbaric, rapist, modern-day Nazis, monsters of Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, UNRWA and the UN, and the Red Cross, and just ordinary civilians, Palestinians. We are here every morning to demand from these inhumane, barbaric, rapist, modern-day Nazis, monsters to surrender and let all of the 59 hostages go now, at once, in one bus, in one phase. No more drips and drops, no more little by little. Yesterday or this morning, the ceasefire that was agreed for 42 days has ended. Hamas wants the second phase to continue. They want the negotiations to continue to the second phase, which in the second phase they demand Israel to stop the war altogether, to promise to completely withdraw from Gaza, from the Philadelphia corridor, and completely surrender in a way. While they're still holding up 59 people, and while they want to stay in power, they want to continue govern Gaza, they would not allow any other foreign group to come in and replace them. They demand to stay in power and for Israel to end the war. No, that's not fucking gonna happen. Israel would not allow for Hamas to continue, and they will not stop the war as long as Hamas is still in power in Gaza. And the reason for it is because they're still fucking holding 59 of our people for 513 days, and they unleashed on us the worst massacre that Israel ever experienced, and continue to torture Israeli civilians, and continue to promise to do October 7 again and again. They're not giving up on the idea. They do not realize that they've been losing through this whole time. They didn't achieve anything besides death and sorrow. They didn't conquer anything. They didn't make the people more free. Nothing. They just got more miserable and more poor. Well, not the leaders. The leaders continue to get millions and millions of dollars. Hamas themselves have been enjoying money coming in straight from the United States admin, the former admin of Biden and Obama. So, Israel is moving forward with what they agreed on. If by the day of the end of the first agreement of the 42 days, they would not be satisfied with how negotiations are continuing, they kept the right to resume fighting, and that's what happened today. This morning, Israel, the IDF, has attacked targets in Gaza, in northern Gaza, and also some in Rafah, and eliminated few terrorists. Also, all the crossings of the border were closed, and no more humanitarian aid is going into Gaza as of right now. Thankfully, finally, because in the last 42 days of this ceasefire, they ramped up the amount of humanitarian aid trucks that went in, 600 a day. This is 25,000 humanitarian aid trucks, which is way more than they actually need in order to feed their people. And it's not that they're even fucking hungry. There's no famine, there's no starvation. They have plenty of food and plenty of shawarma. The Hamas terrorists were taking over all of this humanitarian aid that's coming in, and they selling it in the markets. They have their warehouses full, stacked, overflowing with humanitarian aid. No more. Starting from today, they cut off, and Israel is being very strict. We demand all 59 of our hostages out of there. There's the negotiating countries who are helping to mitigate between Hamas and Israel, proposing other deals. For example, the envoy to the Middle East of Trump, Witkoff, suggested to extend the ceasefire throughout the month of Ramadan and Passover, and through that time, in the first day, to already release half of the hostages that are there, which will comply half alive, half not alive. And then as we see that that negotiations would go smoothly, then they will release more, blah blah. Egypt is suggesting to extend it in 2 more weeks, and for Hamas to release 3 alive and hostages and 3 unalive hostages, and so on and so on. Hamas has declined all of them. To them, they don't give a fuck about a ceasefire. A temporary ceasefire. They want a permanent ceasefire and a promise that Israel will end the war and allow them to stay in power, which is fucking delusional. And anyone who thinks that we should allow them to do that, to live with that benefit of the doubt, see what they've been releasing, the propaganda videos of extortion. This is not negotiation. We're not talking here with another country leader, with military, that we're trying to find a peace or a peace agreement between the two of us. These are monsters, inhumane monsters, who are using brothers for psychological warfare on these brothers themselves and the rest, their family, and the rest of the Jewish nation. Yair Horn, who was released as part of the ceasefire agreement, is forced to say goodbye to his brother Eitan Horn, who has left behind. And Eitan is crying to the camera and demanding and calling for Bibi and for the Israeli government to go along with what Hamas wants for second phase and end the war, and all of these things that Hamas themselves is telling them to do. So basically, they want us to, the hostages, the families of the hostages, or the hostages in the video, want Israel to cave down, bend their knees to the terrorists, and do what the terrorists demand them to do. Thankfully, also in that video, one good thing we can see is that there were signs of life from other hostages. There was one hostage, you can see his tattoo, even though they blurred his face. The family could recognize the tattoo and recognize that their son is alive until, hopefully until this video was recorded. But we will not be extorted by inhumane, barbaric, rapists, modern-day Nazis, monsters who are abusing and torturing our people and continue to torture all of Israel and promising to do October 7 again and again. They just want to annihilate Israel, and we will not allow it. We will remain the war. Thankfully, now that we have our best friend, our best ally back in the White House, there is shipment that is on the way with thousands and thousands of bombs. Heavy bombs, ones that Biden did not want to give Israel, and we will have the force to wipe them off from the face of the earth. We already have it, but now we also have the support that was absent throughout all of these 16 months of war, and this is why the war was taken so fucking slow, and Hamas is still in power. So now the game is changing. Hamas must surrender and release all 59 hostages. Go now, or else join us with the pressure on them, on these fucking monsters. Not just Hamas, of course, but I'm just saying Hamas is just easier instead of listing all of the complacent. Let our people go, and Israel will remain strong, resilient, and proud, and we will do whatever we need to defend ourselves. As Golda Meir, our prime minister in the 70s, said, we rather live with a bad image. We rather live, we don't give a fuck. It's not exactly how she said it, but we don't give a fuck what the world think of us. We rather live, and we will do so. We will remain living in a homeland Israel, from the Jordan River through Judea and Samaria to the Mediterranean East, all of Israel, for eternity. Am Israel will always be. Am Israel Chai forever.